Good morning. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Please share my channel. Please comment whether you agree with me or not. Thank you for being here. I love it when you comment. I love having the conversation. I really enjoy having you. And we're growing in subscribership, not super fast, but honestly, I'd really like to hit 1,000. We're at something like just under 400. So I'd really like to hit 1,000 people. So if you like the content, please share, hit the like button. That helps the algorithms. And of all things, that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Algorithms. That's really what was on my mind this morning. And I want to share some things because my one of my friends, an old friend from a long time ago, called me this morning while I was getting ready for work, asking me for a little bit of insight, just for some, mostly for some encouragement, just feeling kind of down and wanting some encouragement. So we were talking about some things that were going on at work with my friend, and things that were troubling, and just not seeming to be very supportive. But what I shared was, what I always share is that, life is either a blessing or a lesson. We're either being blessed by something because life is opening up and everything appears, we can see the support, we can see the good things in life and all the things that we love and that bring us joy. And when life goes wrong, when things happen that are not so fun and wonderful, when negative things happen, we can take that as, a lesson, and not a lesson like, oh, I'm so bad, I have to be better. Not that kind of a lesson necessarily, but just to know that life is always in support of us. Life is always in support of us, even when it doesn't look like it. This world experience might look like things are against us, but we have to remember that when it all comes down to it, things are not against us. I think people look at it like it's against me because from the physical perspective, some things are just painful. When we go through things that are painful in the physical, we tend to focus on that. Then we get down into the physical and that hurts. And yes, it does, absolutely. This is not to take away from, the way it feels when things go wrong. It can really hurt. But I'm not going to say that we're to ignore the physical. We shouldn't ignore what's in the physical realm, but we can take that and put it in its place. I guess that's the best way I can say it. Anything that happens in the physical, understand its place. What is the physical there for? It's an experience. It's there to teach us and grow us in the supernatural realm. We are supernatural beings living in a physical existence. The Bible says we are in the world, but we are not of the world. There is no verse in the Bible that describes that more clearly than we are in the world. This is where we are. This is where we appear to be. But we are not of this world. So what on earth does that mean? What does it mean that we are not of this world? We don't come from here. This isn't who and what we are. This is what we're experiencing right now, but it's not the real us. This world is not the real us. The real us is a supernatural being that is limitless, that is supported, where we are all connected as one, and everything is always good. That's where we come from. That's who we truly are. But we are in this experience for the time being. Now, I wanted to share a little bit about, a lot of the quantum science that I was sharing about before and how that all works. And when I said earlier in this video, I'm going to talk about algorithms, it all goes hand in hand. And this is what I was thinking as I was coming down the elevator this morning. Life is like one big algorithm. When people talk about manifesting, it's not about, I'm going to think and make it happen. It's really, it happens in our operating system, which is the real us. The real us we live in here. We're having an experience, but we're always the real us. And by the real us, I mean the supernatural, limitless us. That is who we always are. But while we're in this experience, we are operating in algorithms. And if you're familiar with algorithms on your phone, I'll give you an example. The other day, the phone, an iPhone, a smartphone now is designed to have basically eyes. We have a camera. The phone knows what we're doing. The phone, and this is not meant to creep you out, but this is how phones work. This is how smartphones work. We have cameras. We have voice recognition, so the phone knows what we're saying. The phone has a mic, and that mic records us. That mic takes in everything we say. So the phone literally hears us. If we're walking around with our cell phone talking to our friends, our phone knows what we're talking about. So if I tell my friend, the other day I told my friend, when I leave the apartment that I'm in right now, which is really small, I'm going to probably have an apartment with some more space in it. I think I'm going to get an exercise bike. I want to get an exercise bike and a treadmill, because we have 4 seasons here, and I found that I was I wasn't going for walks, and I got really kind of stiffened up over the wintertime because I wasn't out moving. And I want to be on a treadmill and an exercise bike. That would be a nice thing to keep around. Well, I went down to the laundry room area where they have a storage room, a storage area, and that's where the dumpsters are, where we throw our trash. And in that area in the basement, there is a section where people can put old stuff, like dressers or desks or, things that they're getting rid of that they don't want to throw away. And they just sit it down there. It's basically like the free flea market. You just walk in there, and if you see something you like, it's yours. It's really cool because we live in a big apartment building. It's a high-rise, 14 floors. There are a lot of apartments in there, 300 and some apartments. And when people want to get rid of something, they just say, here, you guys, if anybody can use this, here it is. If nobody takes it, then it goes out to the trash. Eventually, they take it, they haul it out. So that is a really cool feature of living in a building like mine. But I walked down there, and darn if there wasn't an exercise bike just sitting there right in the middle of the floor. Like, how did life know that I wanted an exercise bike? So, when the phone hears me say I'd like to have an exercise bike, I get ads. That's how the algorithms work on the phone. But life also knew I wanted an exercise bike. And life works in algorithms. Now we could say, oh, did life copy from the programmers that created the iPhone? No, it's the other way around. Algorithms in a phone are designed based on the science of how life operates. That's how they designed phones. They didn't, life doesn't bring us the things that we want because phones do. Phones didn't come first. Life came first. Life has always done that. And then whenever they started to create cell phones and they wanted to put ads on the cell phone, so they needed AI, artificial intelligence, to be able to imitate life so that they could know what people are talking about, typing. They know what you're texting. They know what you're putting in your phone because they can track the keystrokes. They know what you're saying because there's a mic in there and they can hear you. And when I say they, it's not like people are sitting in a room, like little trolls listening to everything you're saying. It's the phone. The phone literally can hear you. The phone has ears, and the phone has voice recognition. The phone has, texting, keystroke recognition. And it knows what you're clicking on. It knows what you're talking about. It knows where you are, where you're going, what you're visiting, what you're seeing, what you like, what you don't like. And I actually took a class in SEO. And SEO is basically, when people want to advertise, they want to make sure that they know what people want and they want to hit their target market. So if I'm advertising mattresses, I don't want a bunch of people that are looking for jet skis. What good is that going to do? If I'm selling mattresses, I want people who have a bad back or are unhappy with their mattress or who aren't getting enough sleep. I want tired single moms. I want nurses who work long hours. I want people who are looking for mattresses, right? So how am I going to find those and sort those people out from the people who are looking for boats and cars? that's where the algorithms come in. Phone advertising wants to single out those people, and that's exactly what SEO does. That is an AI feature. It's artificial intelligence. And they call it artificial intelligence because it is basically people are mimicking how life works. So if people are artificially creating a system that works just like what real life works like, well, then that tells us that real life must consist of algorithms, and it does. Put it to practice. I mean, and the crazy thing about it is when they talk about manifesting, if you're conscious of it, it tends to not work the same when you're conscious of it. And that's why the whole manifesting thing, I think if you're thinking, this is what I want, and you're focusing on it and always thinking about it, I think sometimes that almost drives the thing away, because it's like your subconscious system picks up on two things: want, desire, and lack. So if you are lacking, if I say that I'm really broken, I don't have enough money, and I just want money, I'm going to lose more and more and more money. And that's happened to me in my life. I just felt like I wanted to go after money. I wanted more. I had some money and I wanted to turn that into more money. I wanted to find ways to make money. And all I focused on day and night was, how am I going to make more money? And the money that I did have went away. The Bible says that too. The Bible talks about people who aren't willing to give and throw it out there and be giving with it and just let it all go. If you're holding on tightly to it, you'll lose it. How does that work? Why? Because the subconscious, your superconscious system, your internal operating system of who you are, recognizes lack. You might not think you are zeroing in on your lack, but whenever you want, it means you lack. It means you want it because you don't have it. And it's something that you want because you know you don't have it. And what the Bible tells us to do is put everything out there like it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter how much money I have. Doesn't matter whether money's coming or going. I don't need to focus on, am I going to make enough money? I don't need to focus on any of these things. I just need to enjoy my life, be grateful for everything I have, know what I want, know what makes me happy. If I know and understand fully 100% completely what makes me happy, and I'm just living life like nothing can get me down, that's when things open up and start to flow in to support me. I'm not all jacked up in lack. I'm free, living life. I'm enjoying life. I'm grateful for everything I have. And I'm projecting that I have all I need, but this is what I enjoy. If we project out there, this is everything that I enjoy. This is what makes me smile. This is what makes me go. This is what really makes me happy in my life. And think of all those things. That's why the Bible says meditate on all those good things. Let the bad things just be what they are and meditate on all of the good things in life. And when we do that, we bring in, and a lot of people when I start to talk about things like this, they'll say, oh, that's the law of attraction. Well, some people say the law of attraction is evil. That's anti-Christ. That's anti-Christian. That's anti-Bible. No, it's not. It actually coincides with the Bible. I didn't read the law of attraction, the book. So I don't know. I can't say that it's 100% Bible. I don't think it's a Christian book, but I can say that it operates, the general idea of the law of attraction operates on the general idea of life's algorithms. I mean, that's all I know about it, so I'm not going to speak on it and say whether the author was a Christian or it's a Christian book or anything like that. However, a lot of times people get all cranked up in the religion of Christianity and they miss the supernatural of Christianity. Christianity, if you're following Jesus, is all about life and how things work in the supernatural and how to operate in the supernatural and not to give the world too much power over you or the supernatural limitless being that you are. That's what Jesus taught. what everything else in the Bible, what Paul taught, what the Old Testament says, what all, the other disciples had to say. I'm not saying the Bible is wrong, but I'm going to say that I really want to zero in on what Jesus, I think Jesus used all those other things and pulled it all together into the theme that we are supposed to get, which is what Jesus taught. And all those other things are just like the rest of life. They're here to test us, grow us, change us, mold us, help us become the spiritual beings that we are, which is what Jesus taught. So I'm really focusing on Jesus and his words and the concepts that he taught. And I've read the Bible, and I'm allowing those things to be what they are, they kind of swirl around, and they're useful. They're all useful, but we can extract from the Bible positive, supportive things that help us grow, or we can extract from the Bible, we can turn it into, we have brains, we have processors. We can turn the Bible into something negative and evil if we want to, or if we, are aimed in that direction, or we can have the Bible be that light that supports the limitless supernatural being that Jesus taught us we are. So we can actually use anything in this life, including the Bible, for good or for evil. So that's, the Crusades. There are a lot of things that have happened that people used the Bible against other people. That's a good example of using the Bible as a weapon. But we don't have to use the Bible as a weapon. We can use it as as the positive experience that it is to bring us all into that light of oneness that's limitless. And then we can live our lives in gratitude and joy and live the way Jesus taught us, that we are that limitless being. We're having a life experience. And yes, the algorithms are always working. If you ever, notice, and what I was going to say about the exercise bike that I saw, it hits me when I'm not expecting it. And that's what I was going to say. I don't zero in on things and focus on them like I lack them. I just put things out there and, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I like my life to look like. This is how I'd like my life to look like. I'd like to travel. I'd like to do this and that. And I just put it out there like it's a big dream of mine. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And then I just live my life and go to work and I'm just happy. And that's when I start to notice things. Oh, wow, look, like I just said, I wanted to fly to Vegas and visit my friend, and look, plane tickets on sale. It's that kind of thing. Maybe my phone will produce an ad for plane tickets to Vegas now. But if my phone weren't on, and if I weren't talking to a friend, and if I didn't have my phone anywhere around, and my phone were at the house and I were here, and all I do is think to myself, I'd love to go visit my friend in Vegas, those tickets might still pop up, because life brings us those things. If we're zeroing in on it, we might not get it, or it might run from us. If we're that focused on it, because it's like, oh, she really, really, really wants it. She's chasing it. If I'm chasing after it, it's going to be running from me. But if I'm just letting it go out into the atmosphere and saying, yeah, this would be great, I would love that, and then I just get on with my life, next thing I know, a couple days later, I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. Discount tickets to Vegas, $99 round trip. And I was just talking about that the other day, or I was just thinking that the other day. This is how the algorithm of life works. So I wanted to share that with you. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's just so exciting, because, when we put things out there, we just have to understand how things work on this earth and this planet that we're in, this life experience. And remember, we're all together as one. Support each other, love each other, be one with each other. And that's the most important thing. Live in gratitude and be one in support of one another and the earth and the animals and everything around us. Be in support, and it will be in support of us. So that's it. I'm going to head into the office now. I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you next time.